Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're well and eating good. Today I have for you these delicious dumplings, gyozas that absolutely divine, chive and tofu vegan, except for the chili oil. So if you'd like to know how to make this, let's get right in. The first thing you're going to need is some firm tofu. Now you can use mince, but I'm going for tofu because plant-based. I just soaked it in some towels and let it drain. I'll have more descriptions on my blog, so please check that out. Next you'll need some fungus or wood ear mushrooms. Now I know people hate mushrooms, but it comes in a pack like this. It's from the Asian supermarket. It has more of a crunch to it than anything, and it has no flavor. You just soak it in water and it comes out like that, and then I chop it into small pieces. Also have some ginger there that I'll grate later on. And then I have some rehydrated mushrooms. These are special because my best friend got them for me from Poland and dried them herself, but you can just use shiitake or any mushrooms you have. It's to soak up flavor. Next, you need these Chinese chives. Now, they're very different from spring onions. It's like a cross between spring onions and garlic. I would recommend trying to get these from an Asian supermarket. If not, just use spring onions and a bit of garlic. I'll have it in my blog post, okay? And then we're also going to need seasonings like soy sauce, dark light, and some sesame oil. Amazing. Also dumpling wrappers, gyoza wrappers. You can get this from the freezer section anywhere. And I'll have ignore my dry hands. I was washing dishes, but yeah, you can get these anywhere. I do make them myself, but let's just buy them. Who has time? Let's get in, guys. Oh, I also forgot, sorry, I'm adding some chili flakes, black pepper, and also some Himalayan salt for seasoning. I got this from Prozzies. You can use my discount code down below to get 10% off. I prefer Himalayan. It's not as salty as table salt, guys. It's great and it's really good for you, so check it out. First thing we want to do is mash up the tofu. I just ended up going in with my hands here because the fork was being a bit tedious. My hands are clean, so sprinkle it up and then add in the chives. A lot of this dish is about prep, guys. Really, you're just throwing everything in the bowl, the mushrooms, the seasoning. I also blanched some bean sprouts, which I forgot to show, and chopped them up as well. So please check out my blog post because some things I will put in there that I've left out. Then I'm going to get a microplane and I'm just going to grate the ginger. I grate the ginger because I want it to be minced rather than having chunks. You can use ginger powder, but try to get some freshly grated ginger if you can. Okay, and then once I've put that in, I'm also going to add in chili flakes to taste. Measurements will be in my blog post again. I'm also adding some black pepper, okay? All to taste, guys, in terms of seasoning, and then a sprinkle of salt. I only put a pinch here, but then I did add more later on when I tested it out. It's better to add a little and then add more later than add too much when you can't take away. Then I'm going to add in some sesame oil. Oh, I love the flavor of sesame oil. Make sure you get the pure kind and blend it yourself if you must. They just dilute it with vegetable oil. I prefer to get it pure and then do what I need to do after. Then I'm going to add in some dark soy because I love the deep color it gives, and then some light soy for extra lovely flavor and seasoning. You can add some Shaoxing rice wine, you can add some black vinegar. Different recipes call for different things. I'm then going to add some sugar, which balances out the salt, and I'm also adding some flour, which will help soak up some of those juices. You can use any flour here. I don't have corn flour, I'm using plain, so yeah. Then give it a good mix, make sure it's combined, break up the tofu, smash it, get violent, I don't know. But just make sure you break everything up and all the flavors are combined. You don't want to bite into like a piece of tofu that doesn't have some crunch, you know. You want it to all be mixed. And just look at how vibrant that is. Oh, guys, it smells amazing, like so good. Okay, so put that aside, and then now we assemble. You do want to get, sometimes these wrappers break if they get dry. That's okay, just pick one that's together. And first thing you want to do is fill the middle. So put a bit of filling in the middle. You don't want to put too much, but you do want it to be enough to where, you know, it's nice and packed, but the edges will still close together, okay? So you put everything in the middle and then wet the edges with your finger, just some cold water, nothing special. Wet the edges as you do. I don't want to skip this part because I want you guys to see it so you can slow-mo it yourself and keep going back. So first thing you want to do, sorry about the trembly fingers, is fold it over. I was trying to work over my camera here, so my hands are shaking a bit. And then you want to pinch and squeeze together. Make sure you get any air bubbles out. If you have air bubbles in there, your dumplings are likely to explode and all the filling comes out. So if there's too much filling, get it out. And you squeeze the edges together. And then what I like to do, just to make it pretty, this is the easier way to do it, there are other methods, is I create a pleat by pushing the first bit of skin back and then the other bit forward and pressing together. I wet my fingers a bit so it sticks, and I continue to do this, creating pleats. Now, there are methods of this that make it harder, but I found this is the real easier way, okay? So just fold those pleats in and squeeze together. My wrappers were a little dry, so they're quite fragile, but that's okay, that's not a problem. Still cute and delicious. And there you have it, okay? That's one way of wrapping them. Now, I'd done a few of these. I'm going to show you again. Okay, there's many ways to do this, guys. Like, I'm going to show you this way, which after I've done a few of those typical gyoza wrapper ways, I like this one as well, where it's like you get a bit more dough, and you know, I feel like there's more texture here as well. So you want a little less filling for this shape, just a little less. You want everything to be in the center. Try not to get the filling on your hands like I do, because it makes for a messy dumpling, but I'm not too bothered about it being perfect. So same method, flip it and then do the moon again. That chive did not want to leave, but anyway, squeeze it, make sure there's air bubbles, and as you can see, there's a bit more pastry on the edge for this one, so it doesn't have as much filling. But then the trick next is to squeeze it together, all the air bubbles out. Let's just turn it around because that's annoying me. Squeeze it out, all the air bubbles out, okay? And then you want to put your finger in the middle and push it forward, and then bring the tips together. Wet your fingers to make it sticky. Bring the tips together and squeeze, okay? So as you can see, it creates this little cute little dumpling that you can steam as well. Have them in those baskets and it's absolutely cute, or put it in soup and it's perfect. So this is a one way to do it. I think in Korea they call this mandu as well. Japanese gyozas, you know what I mean, dim sum. For the Chinese, this is all the same thing, it's just different methods. And then for my final one, which is like the easiest one, and it's the same process for every other one, is to just, it also gives you more filling and more surface area for crunch when they're fried, like pan fried later. So what I do is just fold, pack it really well. This can take the most filling, so if you want the most filling, use this method. And then I just squeeze the edges together and voila, that's it. It gives you more surface area. You can have one entire side that's crunchy and the other side soft, and that's what I love about this one. So now that I've done all of these, and they look so pretty, they're so cute. Some of them aren't perfect, but that's okay. No one's perfect. It's absolutely fine. I have the flat ones, the little dumpling ones, and then the gyoza looking ones. And I think it's nice to have a range. You can freeze these, put them in the fridge. You don't have to cook them now. And for the filling, if you have any left over, do not throw it away. You can stir fry this, have it on top of rice, especially if it's minced beef too, or prawns. Up to you. Okay, so in my pan, I did do a test run, that's why it looks dirty, but I add some sesame oil and vegetable oil on medium heat, and then I arrange the dumplings around in the pan. As you can see, it's lightly bubbling there. You want it to get a good golden brown color. Make sure you're checking them, okay? They look that looks gorgeous, just so gorgeous. And next step is important. Get a lid, water, cover it. Like, this is the most important step. This is to steam it. Now, if you've got a brain, please use a lid that's bigger than your pan so you don't go through issues like this. But I just use what I had. Okay, so you want it to steam. Now, because these are vegan, there's no meat in them. You don't actually have to cook them for long. It's all about cooking the wrappers. So this takes me about 10 to 12 minutes. If you have meat in them, I would say go for about 10 to 15, but just make sure you're checking them. Now, they're translucent and delicious, and this is when you know they're nearly done. Now, I like to lift the lid and let any extra liquid evaporate. Okay, you can drain it out if you want to, but it will evaporate quickly and it will get nice and crunchy underneath. Some of them, if they're not opaque enough, like you can't see through it, then it just means it needs a little bit more cooking, but that's okay. Also, I use my hands to cook. They are clean. I'm very used to putting my hands in hot oil, so don't worry about that. Please use tongs. now they're done, guys. Just serve them up on a lovely plate. Oh, guys, they smelled so amazing. I garnished mine with a bit of chili just to have a kick in each one. Okay, and then I also sprinkled on a bit of those extra, you know, chives for some greenery, because who doesn't like a pretty plate? And then I drizzle with some nice chili oil. If you love to see a recipe on how I make my chili oil, then please give me a thumbs up, share, and leave a comment. And there you have it, guys. Amazing chive and tofu dumplings. Please subscribe. Bye.